Daddy's starting a workshop, sweetheart. Good morning, good afternoon, depending where you are in the world. In this fun Zoom world we live in, we have kids, families, dogs, and all kinds of things that are part of our everyday life. So thank you again for everyone that is tuning in from last week. And hello to all of our new friends. So let's jump into it and get started. So welcome to Prospecting University. When we thought about Prospecting University, we thought about every single agent and kind of meeting somebody where they are. We know their core skills that we feel are fundamental to the business and the world that we live in today. And our goal over the 5 weeks through Prospecting University was to ensure that that you had each one of those skills and that you'd never have to worry about what it was, what to say, and how to do it again. And the second part is that we got into the habit of active prospecting, right? And really that's what this is all about. We want to make sure that given the way that the world has been, for some people it's been a great year, and for other people it's been a challenging year. But ultimately our goal as a company is to make sure that everyone has a thriving fourth quarter, that you guys have great holidays, and that you roll into 2021 with momentum. So at CSC, Chirag Shah Coaching, we always have three fundamental things, and our mission working with agents is ultimately help you to make more money, work more efficiently, and live a more fulfilled life. I remember the day that I became a real estate agent. I was full of dreams, hope, and excitement. And it was always just a lot more than just helping the people that I met. There was something in my life that I wanted to fill, something I want to accomplish, something I wanted to have, something I wanted to do. And our goal in working with people is helping connect what they do at work to their life and help them have a more fulfilled life. We know that if we just help you sell a few more houses and you don't have a more fulfilled life, for us, it's not true success. Now, what do we really do? We offer one-on-one coaching. We're excited to tell you about our 360 Mastermind, and we also do social media management. And we're a company that works exclusively with Compass agents. We love our Compass family. A lot of us used to work here. Some of us are agents here. And it's just a place that we know, like, and love. So this is something that I'm very passionate about. I just want to talk about this for a moment, and we'll touch upon it again in the end. Real Estate 360 Mastermind. What really is this? It's everything you need to power your life and business in one place. And as we talked about what our core mission was and how can we really deliver a full service to our clients, to our community, to people. And we also realized that, you know what, if we gave you a lot of great things to do in business, but we also didn't help you with that next step of how it translates into your life, again, that's not what success looks like. So we know that we could teach you how to generate more leads, the right sales skills, how to give the perfect pitch, how to have a great conversation with your clients, but what do you do really next, right? So we've identified a way to give you everything you need to power your life and business, because we know there are other aspects after you earn a check. What happens then? How do you balance your life? So we've put together the top experts in the fields plus real estate, and we'll share more details with you after. But we wanted to give you one centralized place where you could get everything that you need. Now let's meet our coaches. My name is Chirag Shah. I'm the founder of Chirag Shah Coaching. I was the former director of coaching and training at Compass and just a lifetime realtor, right? I've been a real estate agent for 14 years, which roughly equates to 14 years of my life. I've spent over 5,000 hours training people on the Compass platform. And my fun fact for people that don't know me is before the pandemic started, I used to wake up at 3:30 in the morning to go to the gym because I'm a fitness enthusiast. I like to start my day at 4 a.m. Andrew, who a lot of you guys will meet in the next session, has hired over 7,500 salespeople, run sales teams of 100 plus people. Fun fact about him is he actually worked with Mike Cassetta for 10 years. So that'll give you an insight into who he is and some of his stuff. Adriana Nava is our newest coach. Adriana was with Compass as an AEM, previously an agent. She spent 4.5 years here. She's helped the seen agents in the growth of technology from 800 agents to 18,000. She spent countless hours training agents on how to utilize technology and best practices on the Compass platform. Amit Bhutta, who many of you guys know from Workplace and all around Compass, is probably, I would say, that one of the top 3 experts on building a personal brand and community in the entire real estate country, right? He joins us and brings his wealth of experience. to sharing agents the message of how to build their brand and how to take their marketing to the next level. And David was actually a coach that I had in leadership, and David's done leadership training for Fortune 500 companies in 5 different continents. And he'll really help you understand how to lead yourself and others in a changing world. And through our programs, you'll get to work with all of us. So I just want to give you a little idea about who we are and what we do. Here's our roadmap. We talked about how to build rapport last week, and we'll touch upon that again. Today we're going to talk about delivering the perfect pitch, objection handling, active listening to convert more clients, and ultimately Amit's going to bring it home with how to do agent-to-agent referrals to build your personal brand and to get more referrals out of the Compass Network. So before we start today, I want to share something with you guys that's very important to me. Today is a fun fact I'd like to say on this call is my mom and dad. My mom and dad have never, ever heard me present anything in my life and have just heard me talk about this for countless hours. So if any of you have ever had a great experience with me, have said that I'm a nice person, I'm a good human being, I've touched your life, or have a story to share, feel free. It's not me, it's because my parents gave me great values and they supported me 110% of the way. So thank you, Mom, thank you, Dad, and for sharing these values that have been shared with so many countless agents around the country. So back to our regularly scheduled program and our featured presentation. So let's talk about 3 things today. Today's about learning and doing, right? We spend so much time focused on learning, but we can get stuck about getting ready to be ready. Perfection being the enemy of progress, right? So part of this is going to be learning and the other part's going to be doing. The second half of the workshop, we're going to have you guys fire up your computers, fire up your CRM, and we're actively going to prospect. I can't tell you how many emails I got from people last week that are like, I sent out these emails that you guys made for me. It was really easy to do, and my clients got in touch with me. I got a lead. I have a listing appointment. I have a buyer appointment. When you guys actually do, you get, right? The people want to hear from you. And the last part, on the top of this, being present. The skill of being present is the greatest skill that you could have. So if you've invested this time out of your business to be here, listen, I promise you your phone calls, your emails, your text messages, everything will be there. Barring a family emergency, give yourself the gift of being present, because I promise you, big picture goals here, what I share with you today will change your life. And one of the things with all of our programmings, we built our programmings on what we'd want if we were agents, because most of us used to be. I know that everything sounds great when the presenter says it, but when you actually go back after to implement it, if you don't have the notes, you don't have everything, you don't have the process, it's very frustrating. We sit here, watch these recordings multiple times and give you all the steps, all the notes. We had 7 pages of notes that we sent from last week that has everything that we talked about. So just focus on the words that I'm saying. It's attention, retention, repetition. This is paying attention. The retention will be when you review the notes, and the repetition will be when you practice it with your clients. So today's outcome, pitching in a pandemic and active prospecting with the Compass CRM. So let's go through the building rapport process, right? Let's kind of just do a recap of where it is. Building rapport truly with somebody is meeting somebody where they are, having the conversation that they want to have, not the one that you want to focus on, and following the Med-C process. We got, out of the reviews we got in the feedback, about 40 plus agents said the Med-C process was so helpful, something new and something they never thought of. The backstory behind it is this is something that we came up with for our clients during COVID as a way to authentically communicate with somebody. When I talked to Amit about coaching, and he works with us as a coach and as a client, he says, what you share with us is always about how we can make the client's experience better. And by understanding these 3 fundamentals, they actually carry through in all aspects of your business, from hiring people to working with the people on your team, to working with buyers, to working with sellers. And the reason we moved up this process is because we listened to you. You know how many emails we got saying, like, how do I apply this to my listing presentation? I'm going on a pitch. What do I do? So let's take everything and let's put it into motion. The world has changed. I want everyone to fundamentally think about this more than the words on the page, right? There's COVID, there is mixed messages in the economy, and there's the craziest election we've ever had. But if you unravel that apart, people are spending 50 to 70% less human interaction than they're used to. People are more time in their home than they ever did before. No one ever thought we'd have a world that we'd have to walk around in masks where people were dying like this. And when you turned on the news, it was like watching a sci-fi movie. Why do I say this? Because the way you used to sell real estate might not be relevant today. Where this is the first time where if you've done something the same way for 20 years, it might not work anymore. You know those neighborhoods where they have the neighborhood experts that sells all the homes and you wonder how they get the listings because their pictures are bad and they're not doing any marketing? Guess what? Now you have an opportunity. Hey, you know, Sally sold that way the last 20 years. What specifically is she doing different now there's a pandemic and you have to reach consumers differently? Also, people have changed the way that they make decisions. There is more fear and uncertainty in what people have. And as we talk about leadership, it's the iceberg, right? All the stuff that you talk about is here, and all those feelings and everything that really drive choices and decisions are all under here. You need to be mindful of people and where they are, meet them where they are at, and have the conversation they want. So what I want to do today for you guys is one big picture thing. It's the perfect pitch, right? I can't tell you how many presentations I've sat through wondering like, all right, how do I give a listing presentation, right? I want you guys, when we start talking about the perfect pitch and how to win more listings, it comes down to this, right? If you're competing on photos, floor plans, Matterport cameras, you're in the wrong game. Consumers already know this stuff. Start thinking bigger about more than what you can buy, because if you can buy it, they can buy it, right? Are there sales, right? Are there sites that yes or no in your marketplace that a consumer can go just put their property up on the MLS on their own? Let's see, anybody? Yes? 1, 2. A handful of people, right? So rule number 1 of giving the perfect pitch. The perfect pitch is clear, it's concise, and the seller actually understands the value they're receiving from their agent, right? How many people right now are working with a client and they're like, my client has no idea of all the work that I'm doing? I hear this all the time from agents. I could see from Amit's smile, right? Why is that? It's not the seller's fault. It's our fault because we didn't communicate it clearly, right? So today that's going to stop, right? So if you think about delivering value to somebody, it has to be really simple. You put $5 in a jukebox, you never put money in a jukebox, so you didn't understand what you're getting back. So just remember the perfect pitch, it's clear, it's concise, and the seller actually understands the value they're receiving from their agent. So let me just get an idea of where everybody is. Hit yes if you want to learn a completely different way of pitching your services, where sellers want to hire you, where you might not even have to present price, marketing, in a way that no agent is doing it anywhere around the country, and it's never been taught before because we literally have invented this ourselves. There it is. So team, I got a lot to deliver today. Which conversation are you having, right? This is where it all starts with mindset. I'm looking to move. I really need to move by January. And every agent I'm asking, well, what are you doing? I'm preparing my presentation. Well, what are you preparing? They're like, well, what do you mean? I need to talk about the marketing and what I'm going to do and this and that. And I got this gizmo and that gizmo, and I'm going to make this video and I'm going to tell this narrative. And here's the thing. You spend all this time preparing. I'm like, preparing for what? You have no idea what the other person even wants. And this is fundamentally the problem. You're preparing to walk in the woods in the dark without a flashlight. You don't have a destination, right? Remember, rule number 1 of being in rapport with somebody is meeting them where they are. If you don't know where somebody is, how do you even know what to present? It's a simple concept, right? What we want to teach you today is how to give the person the best experience, because you're not competing on marketing. You're competing on communication, experience, and what somebody thinks, feels, and ultimately what they're going to do based on what you share with them. Remember the 80-20 rule from last week, right? They should talk 80% of the time. Do you think when people selling their house, they have certain reasons that they're looking to sell, certain thoughts that they have, just like being any great consumer, you go somewhere, you have an expectation, something that you might know that might bother you that you want to avoid about a service, right? Like going to a car dealership. So remember which conversation you want. For the people that are actually writing stuff down, remember, this is the fundamental thing that will change the whole experience of someone else. You want to have the conversation that they want to have, right? And how do we do that? So here's the listing presentation process. We're going to go through the pre-qualifying, the recap of the Med C, the magic question that will get you to get every seller to say yes. How to use anchoring an agreement, the actual conversation you have to present what you have to offer in the close. So everything that we share here for everyone, I want to be 100% clear. We'll have detailed notes, and anything I share that's a process, we'll have every step broken out. And to make this fun, Amit and I are going to actually role play the presentation so you could actually see what it sounds like. Does that sound good to everybody before we go on? All right. So here it is. So now, Amit, you're going to be the seller, right? I'm going to pre-qualify Amit. So Amit, thank you for giving me the opportunity to meet with you and your family and selling your home, to be prepared so I could have all the answers, to be 100% prepared. I'd like to ask you a few questions so we can focus on the things that are important to you. Would that be okay?
Sure.
So, in making this move right now, what's really motivating you, Guy, or what's really motivating you, or what are you and your wife most excited about?
There are a few things. We've been at home for so long, and we thought we loved our house, but we actually don't like it as much as we thought we did. And, it's COVID, and we have no idea how the market is, and we're not sure if we can get a deal or not.
Got it. So some things have changed now that you've spent a lot of time in your house, is what I'm hearing, and kind of want to explore the market. That's great. In terms of expectations, what are your expectations of an agent that you partner with in the sale of your home?
Since we have to buy and sell, we would prefer if it's the same person. Also, we want to make sure that the communication is great. And because it's COVID, we're not sure of like safety and other things like that and how that affects the market.
Great. So what I hear is most important to you is partnering with the right agent who could help you both sell and buy, and excellent communicators, an excellent communicator that actually has a plan, and to first and foremost make sure the health and safety of your family is protected throughout both transactions. Is that correct?
Yeah, and of course, marketing as well.
Okay, great. And in terms of the other question I'd like to ask people, have you, obviously you moved and you bought this house. In any previous experiences you've had with realtors or other salespeople, are there any disappointments that you had and things that you totally would like to avoid in this process?
Yeah, we learned a long time ago that just because we know someone and they're a nice person, it doesn't mean that they're good at their job.
Got it. Can you elaborate on that? Like it was disappointing they weren't good at their job, right? So what was disappointing about that experience for you?
Yeah, there were quite a few things. Basically, the enthusiasm just waned. So they were so enthusiastic before we signed the listing agreement with them. And then it seemed like every single day that it was on the market longer, there was less and less interest. Towards the end, there was barely any communication. And a lot of promises that weren't fulfilled, like things that marketing wise and other things.
Got it. So it sounds like the experience that you were promised versus the experience you had were fundamentally two different things, which was disappointing.
Yeah, that's a lot easier way of saying it, but yeah, that was the case.
Got it. So in terms of concerns, right, because of COVID, and you shared a little bit about the health and safety, mixed messages in the economy, and that there's an election coming up in a few weeks, do you have any concerns with selling your house and making a move right now?
Yeah, I do. My wife and I keep discussing, is this the right time to do it? Is this the right time? It's like, it seems like we're thinking about that daily.
Got it. And in terms of the concerns and being the right time, what specifically made this the right time for you, or what would happen for this not to be the right time?
I think we have to, since we're selling and we're buying, it doesn't necessarily matter what we're getting for our house. It's just the net difference. As long as the net difference is something that's affordable to us, that would make it the right time. And obviously also being able to find a home that works for us.
Got it. A home to work for us. And when we meet, we'll go through in detail what that net difference is, so we're both on the same page. And my last question is, you know, everyone looks at houses online and everyone has a perception of how they want their home story told. Is there any great marketing that you find appealing that you've seen on other homes and looking at properties online?
Yeah, it's funny. As my wife and I look at properties, we see some that have no pictures, no photos, and just look like someone used their iPhone. And then there's some that look like they're in Architectural Digest. So yeah, we definitely did see quite a few that were very nice.
Great. Our goal is always to meet and exceed your expectations. Just earmark those things, and it's something we could discuss when we talk about how we're going to share your home story.
Okay, so save those properties.
Yeah, that would be ideal. Obviously, if you have a baseline to start off of, we want to make sure that we at least meet your expectations, and ideally, our goal is to exceed them in the way that we market your home.
Okay,
Great. So I'll see you tomorrow at 5.
perfect.
Got it. So what I want to unpack for you guys here, right? Prior to going here, right? I know that he spent a lot of time in his house. I know they're thinking of making a change. I know his expectations is an agent that's a great communicator that provides the buying and selling and helps manages the whole process, right? I know that he was disappointed because the agent didn't really have accountability for all the promises we have. So a written communication plan would be good, a written marketing plan would be good. And the concerns, right? If you went through all these things, you didn't ask Amit his concerns, you would not really know that whole net difference things, right? A lot of times we have what I call these undercover sellers that they're looking for like a needle in a haystack, right? A client told me yesterday that someone wants to sell their house and buy a house and it'd be the exact same thing, right? Well, you're paying a commission on one end. It's a hot market on the other end. You want to make sure that you're doing this. And marketing, everyone has an idea in their mind, right? So instead of us just going installing our ideas onto them, get a baseline of what they want, and then it's very easy for you guys because you guys know your jobs inside and out how to present something that's better. So now we'll fast forward and we're going to go to the house, right? So I'm going to go to the house, and before I go through the magic question, right, I'm going to sit down with Amit and I'm going to recap, right? I'm going to say, Amit, thank you so much for having me over. I just want to go through what we discussed yesterday. Would that be okay?
Sure.
And I would say, in listening to you and your wife speak, I know your motivation is you spent a little more time than you expected in COVID, and obviously you're looking to make some changes and upgrades. Is that correct?
Sure is.
Great. In terms of your expectation of an agent, you want a great partner that can help you with buying, selling, that's an excellent communicator, has an actual plan on how to put this all together, has accountability for following through.
Yeah, it sounds like you listened well.
Yeah, and in terms of disappointments, last time the enthusiasm was great when we're here, but then as time went on, the promises weren't fulfilled, and accountability and that same enthusiasm all the way through was something that you're really looking for this time around.
Yeah.
And really the big concern is obviously health and safety first and foremost, right? And we'll go through that. We have some very specific measures that we take here at Compass to make sure that, but ultimately making sure this net difference. So let's go through everything today and we'll make sure that we address all these things in our presentation. Is there anything that I didn't listen to, or when you and your wife slept on it, that you felt that you could share that would be important?
No, you covered it.
So guys, see what we did here. We went through everything. So before we go back to the next magic question that you're really wondering about on the screen is, in doing a presentation, fundamentally right here, you've created something different that no other agent does. They ask questions. They understand what's important to them. They've built rapport. Do you guys know everything now? Hit yes if you, based on this conversation and you're actively listening, right? Do you know exactly how to present to Amit today? Would you know what's important to him? I can't tell if anyone's writing or not. This is fundamental number one. Number two, then you shift. What is most important to you about the agent and company that represent you, Amit, in the sale of this home?
Yeah, we want to have someone that is very good at marketing in order to get our home shown to more people. So hopefully we can get a higher number for it. And we want to make sure that our story is told on the home. A lot of times we see these listings that are just basically descriptions of homes, like 4-bedroom, 3-bath with a pool, and there's no emotion tied into that. So we want to make sure that it really engages those most motivated buyers that are seeing our property online.
Great. So what it sounds like is most important to you is the marketing, the story, that their words and emotions associate to something that you have such a high value in and great experiences in. Is that correct?
Yeah, and have that story shared with the most possible buyers.
Getting the most traffic to your home. Additionally, is there anything else you'd mentioned when we originally spoke last night in the beginning of our presentation, our conversation today about communication? What's important to you about that?
Yeah, I want to know what's going on in the market. If, you know, I would rather you tell me the truth than make me feel good and me find out later. You know, if there are bad things that are happening in the market and we need to know what's going on, I'd rather you tell me. I'd rather have those uncomfortable conversations up front.
So what it sounds like is most important to you is an agent that's very direct, that has structured communication and an actual written plan.
Correct.
So look, guys, sellers care about four things: marketing, price, communication, and ultimately an experience they want to have or they don't want to have. This is it. This is like, there's no secret sauce to this. This is the four things that go round and round. And as you see, when you ask someone that question, what's most important to you about an agent and company that represent you in the sale of the home? That's why I call it the magic question, because you're going to get these same four answers, right? The experience aspect of it is what you're delivering today, right? Like that's like kind of like your ace of spades in your sleeve, right? Listen, you realize if you're in New York City, it's filled with Compass agents, right? If you're in San Francisco, it's filled with Compass agents. So whether you're going against Sotheby's, Coldwell Banker, Corcoran, Element, it doesn't really matter. It's the experience you're delivering with somebody. It's a connection you have. The difference between any buying decision or selling decision or hiring somebody is a set of concerns that somebody has and expectations that they want met. If you could address those two subconscious needs of meeting somebody's expectations and addressing their concerns and avoiding their disappointments, people will hire you, right? But if you go in here and you just start talking and talking and talking about what you're going to do and why it's great, you've not left Amit any space to tell you about what's important to him. And by the way, Amit, if I'm going to sell you, don't I have to sell you on what you want to buy?
Totally. It's like selling a steak to a vegetarian, right? It has to be in line.
Yeah. And we go back to the example we use of the waiter, right? Hey, Amit, you know, like what specials are you in the mood for? We have great steak, seafood, or vegetarian. Which one fits best for you? Right?
Yeah,
Versus a
totally.
waiter that goes through a waiter or waitress that goes through the specials and just starts going through all these meat things. And like, you know, if they went with my family, like, you know, I'm the only one that doesn't eat meat. I'm the only one that eats meat, right? So like all that stuff, they'd be out of rapport and they'd be disconnected. Remember, guys, pause and listen, right? Let's get tactical, right? What I hear is most important to you is, do people feel heard? Do our clients think that we heard? You know, David says in leadership training, like if people don't say once a month, you're a good listener, you're not really listening, right? And in Zoom meetings, right, I really sit there attentively to people and listen. And do you know what we get all the time? Hey, are you still there? Hello, Chirag, hello? And I'm like, yeah, I'm here. They go, oh, I said, I'm listening. People are so used to being cut off, right, that no one ever listens. So when someone's quiet for that long, it's different, right? So guys, use your active listening skills, right? So when someone shares what they want, you repeat back to them, what I hear is most important to you is, right? I mean, when I'm saying that to you, does that clarify your thought and feeling?
Yeah, it makes me feel good. And it also, if it's incorrect, I'll tell you.
Bingo. So again, we're having the presentation that who wants to have, that you want to have,
Yeah,
right?
definitely.
Listen, it's always better when it's Amit's idea, right? So the transition statement is like, oh, great. So would it be okay if I shared with you the exact marketing plan that I'll use to tell your home story, to put in front of the most buyers like you said, and ultimately get you the best price?
Yeah, absolutely.
So guys, here's a great concept for you. It's always better when it's their idea, right? By using active listening and asking the right questions, they're going to be telling you the answers. You're never going to be telling them anything. And remember this is like the secret of sales. If it's always their idea, can you ever be wrong? No. So let's get into the statement I call anchoring an agreement, right? And this is really important as we build up to objections, closing, and ultimately making sure that we're giving people the right experience. So think about when you go out on a boat, right? They have a bunch of buoys. Buoys are kind of like reference points to kind of go back to find your way back to a certain location. So in any concept you want you guys to present, I want you guys to use anchoring an agreement, right? Anchoring is utilizing a statement that anchors a solid fact that you're saying. So if I asked Amit and I shared with him, if I'm Amit and Amit shares his like movie production of a wedding for your home, and it has emotion, it literally makes you want to cry. And I look at some of the houses that he sold as expired listings, I'm like, I want to buy that house because he shared an experience that I could have in it that I could see my family living in, right? So if Amit turned around and said to me, hey, Chirag, would you agree that having this type of market would achieve your goal of telling a story in a way that connects with the most buyers? And you're going to say, yeah. And ultimately telling that story, would that get you the best price for your home, you feel? And you say, yeah. So if you had having this would make you feel comfortable and confident with the marketing that you shared with us. And additionally, that would be one step further. And they would say, absolutely. Right? I've got them to anchor that statement. I've got them to agree to it. So in any future conversations, when they're now trying to go back on the price, the marketing, I have a friend in the business, another agent, I could say, wait, Amit, you had shared with me that you wanted to get the most money from your home. Has that changed? No. Well, you had said that having this type of marketing would give you the opportunity to get the best price for your home. Has that changed?
No.
No. So now you have something to go back to instead of saying when the last agent's like, well, they'll do it for 1% less. Yeah, but I have all this marketing and all this stuff is great. And if not, you're going to miss out on this. And these are the different opportunities at Compass we can offer. This is literally the vomit that people have. And this is combative. You're out of rapport. And it's not a consumer-centric situation. So the other thing I want to share with everyone in this is like an asterisk. Make this into your own voice. We're providing you a framework to follow. Make it your own. And the best way to do this is to role play. We have a list of 150 agents from last time. We'll send the list out again for more people to add to it. Practice. This is one of the things that's a big high-level goals of ours is January 1st comes around, you never need to know how to do this again. People have been coming to me for, I don't know, thousands of meetings when I worked at Compass. How do I deliver the perfect pitch, right? What do I say? What do I do? How do I get people to say yes? So anchoring an agreement. Remember, it's always better when it's their idea. So how do you share what you do, right? So in this concept of I want somebody to understand my value. Remember, it's clear, it's concise, and the other person actually understands the value that they're getting. So how do I share what I do in marketing, right? So if Amit was sharing with me about how am I going to get the most buyers and share with the home, share this story in a compelling way, right? So I would share with him, I would say, share what you do, an example of it, and then get them to anchor an agreement statement. So I would share with Amit, says, you had said you wanted the most buyers for your home, Amit. Can I share with you exactly how I would do that?
Sure.
I'd take out my iPad and be like, you see this marketing we have here. We have this is part of the pre-marketing campaign we'll do for your home. One of the benefits of working with me as an agent at Compass is we take the same concept that people do when they release movies and like Tesla does, and we take those concepts and apply it to your home. What does that mean for you? That means we'll take your home and advertise it in pre-marketing through a coming soon program paired with a digital advertising campaign, which the result will be 3,000 or more online buyers viewing your home before it went on the market. What do you think the financial impact would be for you?
Yeah, it should help, definitely.
And when you say help, if you had 3,000 or more people look at your home before being on the market, do you think that's going to get you the same amount of money if you didn't do that? More money or less money?
More money.
So I think we could agree that having 3,000 or more people view your home prior to being on the market with a great pre-marketing strategy will ultimately get you the best price.
Yeah.
And, you had shared with me earlier that this type of marketing, that using emotions and strategies to get the most buyers, do you feel that for you and your wife that this would fulfill that need to at least start the process for you the right way?
Yeah, starting the process. I'm interested in what else you guys do.
Got it. So let's go through specifically what we're going to go through in the process. So I wanted to take everyone through this framework, right? I shared what I did. I gave an example of it, and I brought you to agreement. If you were a homeowner, what objections would you have?
Objections, maybe I would say, can you tell me other sites you're going to put it on? How are you going to get international buyers? You know, just more marketing things about identifying the right buyers. That may be one thing with marketing.
Exactly. So for all of you Compass buffs, write down the network tool for international buyers, right? Because the last time I checked, people from China aren't flying directly to an open house. You get the seller. It's very simple. You say, well, how are you going to find international buyers? Would you agree that somebody buying a home from China is probably represented by an agent?
Yeah,
Great. And so wouldn't you think it makes most sense to target market the top agents in the top 20 metro cities around the country who are working with international buyers between 3 to 5 million in the price range of your home?
yeah, that makes sense.
Can I share with you how we'd use our proprietary tools to do that?
Yeah, sounds interesting.
And would you agree that having direct access marketing in a more targeted manner to the top agents in these metro markets would be more effective than just blanket ads on the internet?
Yeah, I could see how that would work.
See, it's a simple process, right? Over and over again. So that's marketing. Let's talk about a communication plan, right? I'm going to get an idea. How many people have a written communication plan out of there's almost 300 people on this call. How many people have a written communication plan? Right? Yes. How many yeses do we have? Adriana, Amit, what do we got?
It seems like a lot of your clients are saying yes, and some others yes, some no's.
Do we have 50 people, do you think, that said yes?
I don't think so. I don't think 50 people have answered yet, but I think what would be better is to describe a communication plan, because we all say we're going to communicate with people, but a specific communication plan is probably a little bit different.
Exactly. The reason I share this with you guys is we talked about how we can be different from everyone else, right? If we have, let's see, 275 people on this call and not even 1 out of 5 have a communication plan, guess what, guys? You now have a competitive advantage over 18,000 other agents and everyone in most other agencies, right? So let's talk about a written communication plan, right? So we'll give you a framework for this as well before somebody puts it in the chat. So you want to sit down with somebody, and I'm with Amit, Amit, you share the communication is really important to you. Can we go through and structure a written plan on how we'll communicate with you throughout the process?
Yeah, that would be great.
For you and your wife, there are a few different methods, right? Would you prefer a call? Would you like an email? Would you like us to do it through text, WhatsApp, or do you prefer video conferencing like this?
I think for the minor stuff, maybe text, and then if it's something major, maybe like a Zoom call.
A Zoom call, great. And what's frequency, right? Would you like to hear from us once a week, bi-weekly, monthly, or just contact you when something important happens for a structured meeting?
So if you show the property, I would sort of like the feedback if we could get it. And as far as just getting an update on the market and what's going on, every week is fine.
Great. So really weekly works for you. Now, these are the things that we find most sellers want information on. Which are important to you? Would you like updates on the number of showings?
Yeah.
All the feedback?
Yeah.
Results of our marketing?
Yeah.
And updates on the market itself?
Yeah, that would be great.
Amit, the reason this is really important is you shared the communication was a fundamental that was really important to you. We structure the meetings where we'll meet, we'll have a call once a week, or we could do it on Zoom. We will make sure that we have all the updates that are important to you. We'll share our insights report with you in advance. It shows the results of our marketing. We have collections, which is a proprietary software setup, which pretty much just allows you to track the market with us in real time, where we can engage and comment and just share information. And every week we'll set up a time, and once a week at that time. We're going to go through everything that's relating to the sale of your home. And it's a time that you could ask all your questions. Would you find that meets your needs for communication?
Yeah, that would be perfect.
And look, as you can see in our plan, like this is something that we hold ourselves accountable to. So we'll both sign it, and this way you'll know it's part of our process.
Sounds good.
Great. So that's a simple way of doing this. By the way, written communication plans are ways that people have won listings without even having to present it. Because if you've ever talked to an expired listing, or most people, communication and realtors are two things that don't mix very well. It's like oil and water in many senses, right? People don't have structure to it. And a lot of times it's what you hear, like, what didn't you like about your last experience? I did not know what's going on. I always use the example of a contractor, right? Like, these people work in your house. You don't know when they're coming. You don't know when they're going. You always ask them, are they coming on Saturday? Where are you in the process? Like, it's very frustrating, right? And this is a way to win more listings, because when people talk to other people and they're having these structured meetings and their friend or family members frustrated because they hired another broker, it's very easy for them to say, hey, look, here's the communication plan that Amit had when we worked together. We actually communicate every week. The second benefit of this is when you need a price reduction, which many of you guys do need, when you're speaking with somebody every week and you're going through the market by week 5 or week 6 where you want to get a reduction, it's much easier than if you've never spoke to them over the last 6 weeks and shared with them what's going on. So pricing, right? Don't own the market and the price. This is a huge concept for people, right? You don't set the price of the market, right? The seller controls the price, the condition, the accessibility, and the terms. You control marketing, advertising, and finding qualified buyers. What no one controls is what their neighbor sells the house down the street for, which is the market, the condition of the economy, interest rates, and all the other things that are going on in the world. Nobody controls that, right? So as soon as you conceptually start being combative and defensive of, well, this is what the market is right now, you just own the market. If you start sharing their house with someone else and they're like, well, this house has all these things, Mr. Seller, and your house doesn't have that, now you just own that. You just own that situation, right? Now you are representing the other home becomes combative of their view in the world. So if you go back to the anchoring tactic, right? And this is how you all get over overpriced listings. So you could go back, and this is why anchoring is so important. You could say, now Amit wants to sell his house for $150,000 more than the houses in his neighborhood, right? And his house is not updated and the other ones have updates. So Amit, let's role play this out for everybody, right? So you go ahead and tell me you want $150,000 more, and I've given everyone the situation.
Yeah, I mean, I like your price, but it's about 150,000 less than what we thought we could get for it.
Great. I totally understand that. You'd shared that, the value is something that's very important to you in the beginning in making this move. So Amit, remember we agreed that the marketing we did was the best that your home was going to have. It would tell your story. We'd get those additional buyers in, which would ultimately get you to the result, right? Isn't that what you said?
Yeah.
And so what we have to do in creating the story for your home is to be able to justify that $150,000 more to other agents in the market. So look, I have a notepad with me. Why don't we walk around your home and see what specifically you did that makes it worth $150,000 more than the other homes in your subdivision? So we're going to walk around the house. So Amit, what things have you done that we could add up to $150,000 so we get buyers in here? I could justify the price for us.
I think our furnish. It's hard, Chirag. I'm trying to think. Ours just looks decorated nicer. I don't know. It just seems like a better floor plan.
Floor plan. And now look, if you remove yourself from your home for a second and you're a buyer, like you said, buying another house, would you pay $150,000 more for a different floor plan?
I guess it depends on what the other floor plan was. If it's like a lot better or if it's just not that much better, but probably not.
Probably not. And look, if some of these other houses have updated kitchens, how much do you think it would take to update your kitchen to look like the other one?
We were actually thinking about doing it, but it cost us too much. It was like 50,000.
50,000. So look, if you're looking at this objectively as the eyes of a buyer, if we're not able to justify the $150,000, let's go back and see where in the range your home should fit into. What do you think? So we've gone through this, right? I don't want to belabor this for everybody, but if you use the word we, because when most times, Amit, correct me if I'm wrong, when the price is overpriced, what do agents generally do?
They blame the seller.
Or they become combative.
Right. They blame them. They say, yeah, you need to do this. You need to do that. Not we need to.
It's always we. And if you go back to the anchoring and agreement in this, right, you know that they've already agreed on the marketing. They've already agreed that this will get them the best price. We went back to their motivations, expectations, disappointments, and concerns. And we've gone through all this because all these steps are relevant to the next one, right? We presented things in a way to you that they make sense. And look, by the way, at the end of doing this, if Amit is still realistic, do you want him as a seller? Just if he doesn't want to go down on price, hit yes if you would like him as a seller, or hit no if you don't want him.
If I'm unrealistic, you're saying?
Yeah. Yep.
So a ton of people are saying no. Like I haven't seen one yes.
Exactly. So I wanted to make pricing really simple for you guys, just like presenting marketing is simple and everything else, right? The experience. We said in the beginning of this presentation, the experience you create with somebody will be the difference that you can make, both in the impact that you have on somebody's life and ultimately the difference in getting the listing, right? So I'll share this story with you guys. Fran Mazer is one of our great clients in Long Island. Fran, fun fact, is in a new expansion market. It took 22 listings in her first 2.5 weeks. So Fran gets a call from this woman. Fran's price point is normally around $1 million to $1.5 million. Fran gets a call from this gentleman, and he says, hey, I got your name and number. You come highly, highly recommended. However, I'm 90% of the way of listing with this other agent who does do Maria, who does most of the business in the area, but I would really like to meet you. And she goes, okay, that's fine. And he goes, by the way, can you come right now? So Fran goes over there, no papers, no anything in hand. She shows up and follows. She says to me, I followed your exact process, right? And she goes, how would you like to be communicated with? She went through the whole thing. And she goes, you know, and then the woman goes, what do you mean, how would I like to be communicated with? She goes, I have 3 other properties with 3 other agents. No one communicates anything with me. She goes, no, I'll provide you a written plan on what I'm going to do, both in marketing and both in a communication plan, and we'll communicate based on the frequency that you want. Fran, the next day, gets a call and says, we're going to go with you for the listing. And thank you so much. No one communicates with her. 2.5 weeks after that, they get a call from her. That was about 4.5, that listing. They get another call that says, I have a $5 million listing further out east. I don't ever hear from my agent. They don't ever share with me what they're doing in marketing. That listing is going to expire in a couple weeks. I'm going to hire you. Fran followed this process and got $10 million in listings. She didn't go with any fancy sales pitch, but she created an experience that somebody else wanted to have, right? Sellers are more sophisticated than we really give them credit for. They understand the concept of 3D tours. They understand the concept of videos and pictures, and we have to present this all in an engaging way. But the experience of meeting somebody where they're at, sharing the information they want, addressing their motivations, expectations, making sure their disappointments don't happen, their concerns, there's not much else to do, because when you get to the close, there is not some big secret close, right? We're not talking about takeaway close, lesser of 2 evil closes or anything. This is a very natural conversation. So I would simply say to Amit, I said, have I answered all of your questions this evening?
Yeah, you have.
Have I met all your expectations that you'd have in an agent that you'd partner with?
Yes.
Great. So there's only 2 things left for us to do. Would you be okay if I shared the paperwork with you this evening and we could start figuring out what are our next steps to really tell your home story the way that you like?
Yeah, that sounds good.
So you could say, share it with me this evening, or would you like me to send it to you in advance, right? That's really it. That's the close, guys. No magic trick here, right? Like, look, I want you guys to realize in our next session, when we talk about objections, every single objection that you could hallucinate that a seller would give you. There's not that many of them here. We'll go through and we'll show you how to take our exact process and answer them, right? So before we hopped into the next part of all this, I want to just take my screen down and just answer any questions that people have in the chat box, a few of them, so that this way everyone leaves with an applicable process. So let me see in Q&A. Would appreciate some insights on how to communicate with the pitch to a buyer or seller who has to be right. The person who considers him or herself an expert in everything, smarter than everyone else, or lives to poke holes in what you're saying. I'm sure this isn't a DC thing, but it's rampant. Okay, so Leslie says, how do I talk to the seller that thinks that they know every last single thing, right? It's simple. It could say, if you use the word, Leslie, with them, as you know, somebody who's a know-it-all will never tell you that they have every answer. That they don't have every answer. As you know, Leslie, right? So that's number one, right? The second thing is what do you think? Would you agree, right? Ask them probing questions that will lead them to a natural result of where you want them to go, right? We talked about in our building report section, it's all about asking the right questions. So what printed materials would you take to a listing presentation? I would say, look, bring the things that make most sense to what you're doing and base it off the Med-C process. The closing, again, is just simply, have we answered all your questions this evening? Have we met all your expectations? And if you have met them, you could say, would you like us to share the paperwork with you? So I realized in doing this today, this took a little longer. We want to get into some form of prospecting. So we will, I'm just looking to see if there's anything here. Standing in a listing. So someone wants to know an elevator pitch. Thank you, Cheryl. So an elevator pitch. So if somebody says, we'll send our What's Compass script, right? Compass is a real estate technology company that's been fortunate to raise a tremendous amount of capital, bringing together the brightest minds in real estate, technology, and marketing, allowing me to be more effective as an agent. So we'll share all the notes with you guys. Let's just hop on and let's just fire out a few emails if that's good with everybody. Does everyone want to do Q&A or should we just sit here and answer everyone's questions? What do you think, Amit?
I think, so one of the questions, I think that would be a session. We can do it on our Ask Me Anything tomorrow. It was about, the seller says, I see that you sell homes in a lower price point and I want someone that sells, basically to prove that you could sell a luxury home. That would take too long to do this. So I think we should answer a few questions and then get into the prospecting a little bit.
We have 7 minutes, so let me just fire up our screens here. Adriana, you want to put the pre-made content in here? So for everyone, go in and click this Google Doc, fire up your CRM. And we shared last week the lifetime value of a customer, right? Like a customer that buys a house and sends you 3 could have over $100,000. Adriana, they say it's not working. Do you want to make sure that the permissions are right?
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of people going in. So Heather, I will chat with you on the side.
Okay, so look, when you're in here, right, there are messages for buyers, sellers, spheres of influence, and cold leads. We want to make sure that you just send something out to somebody. All you have to do is copy and paste the information in. That's it. So we have 4 made messages. I think last week, a little more than 150 people took advantage of this. So we want to make it so easy that you copy, paste, and just have to hit a button. Amit?
Yeah, so sorry to interrupt you. The questions that we don't answer today, we'll answer in our Ask Me Anything tomorrow.
So Ask Me Anything is at what time, Amit?
It's at 12 p.m. Eastern time. It's in the Agent Mastermind group.
No, it's not at
Chirag,
12 p.m. It's
I
later.
mean, it's
1
1
p.m.
p.m. I'm sorry. This is 12 p.m. So yeah, tomorrow, every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern time, Chirag and I will spend half an hour to 45 minutes answering questions, and it's recorded, and there's probably 10 or 11 or so that we've done. So we'll answer the rest of those questions tomorrow, and then today we can just do the CRM thing. I think that would be better.
Yep.
We're getting questions about the link or where they can find you for Ask Me Anything tomorrow.
We'll email that
Yeah.
out to everybody. It's in Workplace in the Agent Mastermind group. This is
We'll
fun
share it
fact.
tomorrow.
This is the first time that I've actually got to know what the conversation is. So as everyone sends out a message, I just want to take a couple of minutes just to share with you guys about what our Real Estate 360 Mastermind is. This is something our team has put an incredible amount of thought into, and we wanted to really take everything and really centralize it for every agent. So in total, it's like joining the group, really, what is it? It's 16 plus monthly sessions. We wanted to figure out a way that we make coaching a part of your everyday life. We know the accountability sessions, work groups, sitting in sessions like this, where it's part learning, part doing, really makes it effective for an agent to stay and get into momentum, continue to grow community. So there's 16 monthly sessions or more a lot of times because we have specials. There's 100 total sessions. There's an exclusive once a month team leader mastermind that's on high level leadership, growing, building profitable and scalable teams. There's also, for the first time, if you have admins in this, once a month, I'll personally be facilitating an admin mastermind group. So really, we're going to connect every admin that we have in this entire coaching network around the country and help build the best scalable systems that we could share with all of our clients. And really life-powering sessions. I shared with you, it's just not about business, it's about life, right? We've hired a top mindfulness coach because if we can't be present with our family members and our clients, really, what are we doing, right? And let's talk about wellness. We're hiring a top wellness coach, which will teach you how to live a more healthy lifestyle and ultimately boost your immune system because you guys are still out there every day and there still is COVID. So we want to make sure that that's available. Profitability powering sessions. We found a top accountant and a top financial planner. The accountant's going to go through best practices once a month on running your business like a business, right? We want to make sure that it's not just about growing a business, but it's about profitability, right? We want to make sure that your take home and your net is good. And then ultimately a financial planner, because as a 1099 independent contractor, we're not always told about savings, right? The taxes don't come out of our check. How do we plan for retirement? How do we plan for a kid's college? And how do we start addressing the macro trends in the economy and talking about that for our clients? So in total, it's 100 plus sessions over 6 months. We'll have bonus prospecting workshops we're doing, bonus business planning workshops we're doing. You'll see when COVID's done that we'll have a retreat for everybody. And look, we made it simple. It's $500 a month and it's a 6-month commitment. So you'll be working with all of us through the group doing it. Every single session will be recorded. They'll have worksheets in them and all the notes will be done for you. So if you want a place 4 to 5 times a week to show up, to actively prospect, learn the skills you know, grow your business, better your life, and have that real 360 solution in your life, Real Estate 360 Masterminds for you. I think if you look at it, it comes down to less than $30 a session. We'll put the sign up link in an email. We can put it in the chat if you guys want it to. But we're rolling this out. It launches on November 1st. And we wanted to give everyone advanced access to the program and also an introductory price. So if you're interested, you can email our team. We're happy to answer any questions you have. We hope that some of you guys will join the group and we can continue our journey. And if not, look, we have another 3 sessions of Prospecting University where we'll continue to contribute to your business and ultimately help you have a better 2020 and excel into 2021. So on behalf of myself and the team, thank you so much for investing your time with us. I really hope that you take the processes we shared in session 1 and session 2 and give them to your clients, because ultimately you want to be able to create a better experience. You want to be able to meet people where they at, meet them where they are, share information in a digestible format. And remember, if you meet somebody's motivations, if you understand their motivations, understand their expectations of an agent, fulfill those, address their concerns, and make sure in your process your disappointments don't happen, you will win more listings. And in my mind, there's no reason that you shouldn't win every listing pitch. So I'm going to stay on here just for a couple minutes to answer any questions. And thank you, guys. I appreciate all the thank yous.
While people are still on, hopping off, because we've gotten a lot of questions about recordings and documents and notes. For those of you who are still on that are looking for where to find that, should I share my screen and just show everybody really quick who's still on?
Sure.
If you go to, can you see my website here with our site?
Mm-hmm.
Great. If you go to chiragshahlearning.com, you can log in by clicking the button on the top header. It will be the email that you use to sign up for the course. If you don't remember your password, you can always click forgot password. Once you're logged in, you can click on my library. Let me just log in really quickly. You'll click on my library and you'll see the Prospecting University course in your library, along with any other products that you have. When you click on that, you can see all of our previous sessions. The one that we did last week is already up. The one for today will be up soon. And the video recording is here, along with all the documents and some other notes and tips from us.
And for everyone that has questions, we will get you the stuff. Kathleen, we will reach out to you about your question directly. Sean, I see your questions. And let's see. For the people that don't have their questions answered, come tomorrow to our Ask Me Anything, and you could just ask them on there. We literally do this once a week, and you can come on and ask us anything you could humanly imagine, we'll answer it. Thank you, Rachel. I appreciate the kind words. If you don't know your password on the website, just hit forgot password. Anybody else? Pam, it's chiragshahlearning.com. Steve, you're one of our clients. You get recordings to everything. We'll send an email out with the recording tomorrow. All right, guys. Well, happy Tuesday. I hope everyone has a great day, and we'll see you guys next week, and we'll see some of you tomorrow. Have a good one. Bye.